Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors, and this is Simply Drawing with Everett. 7:30 p.m. Here I am, live broadcast. I'm broadcasting live to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and later on I'll be switching. Oh, it's Twitch also, and later on I'll be going to Instagram. I'm in the studio tonight with my wife Gloria,
Welcome, everyone.
and she'll be monitoring the broadcast as she does every week. And also, she'll be monitoring, looking at the chat room and support me on that. The chat room's live, so if you have a comment or you'll make a question, put those on the chat room and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Even after the broadcast, if you have a comment or so forth, I can get back to you even after the broadcast if you write them in the comments on the video below. If this is the first time you've seen this broadcast, subscribe to my channel so that you can be informed of my next broadcast, my next video, which I come on every week. So if you're subscribed, then you'll get a notification. So tonight I'm going to do another drawing, and it's I'm going to work on an origami character. And so let's go over to my drawing table and let me get started. So origami is the Japanese crane, and origami, if you're not familiar with that, it's a Japanese folding paper art, which they make some special characters on. And the Japanese crane is probably the most famous one worldwide. The Japanese developed this several years ago. Now here's a small one. Depends on the size of the paper, but here's a small crane. It was folded. My wife did these. My wife did the folding of the origami. So that's a small one with a tiny piece of paper, and here's a larger one. This is the one I'm going to do tonight. This particular one right here. Okay. Now this particular origami was constructed from a piece of paper, and here it is. You see it's got the measurement here, 4.5 inches square. That's the size of the paper. This paper is folded and refolded and unfolded, and then it comes make it out into a beautiful figure such as the flying crane. So what I'm going to do is going to move this aside here, and I took a photograph of it in my still life box, and I took it with took a shot of that with my camera, and got a nice big picture here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw the origami crane, and my tools tonight, I've got a standard sheet of drawing paper, 8.5 inches by 11, and I've got a 2B pencil, an HB pencil for drawing to get the original get the construction lines going. Then a little darker pencil, a 4B to darken the lines. Then I've got a little I got another 2B to do some shading, a shading pencil. And I got a blender here to also to darken up the shading. And I've got a kneaded eraser to erase the construction lines during my drawing process. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the outline shape. Okay, I'm going to start out with the outline shape here, and I'm going to start with the 2B pencil. This is going to be my sort of my outline pencil right here, the 2B. And I'm going to start here with the crease. I think I'll start here with the crease here at the center here, the body. So I'm going to concentrate on this, then I'll work around. As you see, this one here is probably 4 times as big as the actual origami, but it's easy to follow. So I'm going to start out here with the crease. I'm going to start down here, up here, make a point. So get the proper angle, do a little sighting. So I can get the angle here a bit about like that. And then at the top, I'm going to come down. Now you can see here, this side of the crease is a little bit longer. So it's not quite parallel. I got a little gap there. So it starts up here, and it comes down, and it's going to be, the bottom's about right here. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start here at the bottom and draw up toward the top of the crease. Okay, so I got that portion in. Now I'm going to do the back part of the body over here, And I can see this line here. This line is about somewhere up here, and the angle of the back looks about 45 degrees. So I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to just make a rough line in there to get my construction line started. And this crease here goes from point to point. So I'll go from this point all the way to the other point. So that's just a crease where it's a fold. Okay, so I've got this fold here now. I think the next important thing is the head up here. So this line is about this direction here, and now I got to approximate the length of that.
We'd like to welcome Martha.
Okay. Oh, hi Martha. Good to see you. Okay. Then over here, get the head. It comes down from this point here, and it kind of just angles off over here. There's a little fold right in here also. There's a fold. So I'm going to get that in. It bends around, and it's going to come down. See, I could draw this line in. There's a line right here at the body, and it's got about that angle. So now I can, I've got this line up here. So this line, this crease here, this point here, match the point down here. So let me draw that line in. Okay, now this fold here is under, see the bottom part, if you can see this bottom part here, it goes down like that. That's the bottom of the fold. And this is a crease that goes over here, and it folds. There's another fold right there. There are two folds there. There's a fold, so that's an open line. That's the head. Okay, now the next line I think I'll do is let's get the tail. There's a tail here. It goes out this way. It's a short line right here. So let me get the angle. I'll start with the bottom part here. I'll start here and go up this way. So let me get the angle. About right there. So estimate that. And that length there is just about the same as this length here, about proportionally. Proportionally this and this is about the same. Yeah. So again, I'm comparing this line here with the line back here, and they're about equal. So this line here and this line here is about the same length. And I got the angle. I like that. The angle's good. So I got the length and the angle. Okay, and then now the width of this is about it's not quite halfway up the back here. Not quite. It's a little less than halfway. It's about right there. Less than halfway. Halfway is right here, but it's a little less. So I'm going to start right here, and I'll go out and to the point. So I'm trying to construct these lines the way the folds are. You can draw any way you want to, but I'm trying to pick it piece by piece and line up the edges. I found this point. I found that point. I found that point. I just draw the lines in there. Okay. The next one, I think this big wing, the big left wing over here is very important. Let's see. The angle. It's not up and down. It's got a little angle to it. And I see here, it's about halfway on this, I'll call this the neck or whatever. It's about halfway at this position here. From that point to that point, it's about halfway. And I got the angle. See how getting the angles are very important. And then you work on the length. And you find the length just by doing a comparison. Just doing a comparison about how far away it is. Sometimes you just have to guess a little bit to see how things go. All right, I got that line. Okay, that's a fold, but I'm not going to draw that in. I'm going to get the other side over here. So I can see it intersects here down at the tail. It intersects right here. So I put that point in. So now I got 2 points. I measured this area down to there. So let me draw that in. I'm going to go in here. So this back wing then connects back here, and it goes straight down to that point there. Okay. All right. So I got that in. Okay. So I got this. Now I get the left wing. This wing over here now. Now this is a little bit tougher. So let's see. Let's do this back point here. It starts at the corner here. I get the angle. The angle. Now I got to think about the length of it. Now let's see. It goes out this way. And I'm just going to approximate. It looks about I can line up the tail. Here, I can line up the tail with the corner of the wing, right here. That's another way to look at it. The tail and the wing match up. So come down here, and I pretty well, that's a little further out. If I look at the length of it, see, this part's a little bit out from the tail. So I can bring that down here about this far. Let me draw a construction line in. And that's about right. This part of the wing is a little bit further out. This part of the wing is a little bit further out than the tail. Okay, so that's how I find that measurement. All right, now I got this point and this point over. Let's see. Now the wing starts up here, the fold. So get this line in from here, straight across to there. Now I can go ahead. Now this under part of the body is underneath. I can get that in now a little bit. Now that I have the folds in. Okay, so those are my construction lines. Let me take a look at that. Those are my construction lines. Okay, let's see. Let me do it. Let me check all the angles and check all the sizes. See if I'm happy with that. Okay, this one here comes up. This has got a little more here. Here. I got that and that and that and that. Okay, now I'm going to go in and make a little darker mark. So what I'm going to do is go in here and I'm going to. This is in shadow, so I'm going to put this little groove here in shadow. This little fold right here, that's in shadow. And the way I put the light on here, which really doesn't matter. It really doesn't make too much sense. This side here is a little bit in shadow from the wing, so this is going to be in shadow, but not as dark as the groove. So I'm going to give it just a little, maybe a half the value, of the what I call the groove. This little slot in here. So that's going to be about a half. This shadow is about half of what that is. So I'm just on all this estimates just by observation, looking at all the angles. And also this part here. This part here is in shadow, right here. So I'll go put that in. I'll bring that up now. You can see what I'm picking up here is there's a little, and it's hard to see with a light shining on it, but there's a shadow. There's a shadow here. The tail's also I got to get the tail. The tail has a shadow too. And there's a shadow right here on this part and a little bit under the beak. So I'll get that in right now. And they're not dark. They're not as dark as this crease here. So this has got a shadow on it. And I'll use the blender to smooth out these lines a little bit better. Okay, now this part here is in shadow. The part here under the wing, right here, this little section. This part's in shadow right here. And then the tail, as I said, the tail has got a slight shadow on it. So I'll go ahead and put that on here. And just a light shadow. It's not dark. It's not very dark. It's just lighter. It's darker than the other part of the wing. It's darker than the wing. Okay, and I'm gonna leave the wings. This wing. When I put the light on this, I had the light come down, and these two wings were lit up. Okay, you can see this. You can see a slight shadow pattern in the background. There was a shadow here, and then it went back to here, and then it was a shadow over here. So the shadow was really a very thin line here, and then there was a small, really light shadow back here. And that might help identify a little bit of his wing. It's kind of hard just on a white paper. But at least get the idea. Just get the idea. Okay, now let me darken it in a little bit. I'm going to start with a groove over here. This was darker because it's the groove of the inside the body. And then I'm going to start with the body itself. I call it the body, but this part up here, this top part of the body. And now all I'm doing now is smoothing out some of that shading I did with the 4B pencil. I put the lid down. I put the lid down on there very lightly, and now I'm just blending it now with the stump, just to smooth out the shadow. While I'm here, also go ahead and get the shadow on the tail. This wing I'm going to leave alone. These two wings here, there's a little bit of shadow underneath here. This section is a shadow underneath because it's underneath the wing is fold. This side over here is in shadow because the light was coming from this side over here. Actually, this direction. This little section here was in shadow, and it goes all the way down to the bottom, or to the corner there. And then this little section in here, and I can make that a little better. Let's see. This fold came up. There was a fold here, and there was a fold here. There was a fold here. Okay. And the shadow from the light that I put on, I put it in a light box, a shadow box, light box, whatever you want. I call it a still life box. I put my still lifes in there, and I put a lamp on it or a light to give me a shadow pattern to highlight the edges and things like that. So I did the same thing here with this origami structure. So this is the shadow on the surface over here. So what I'll do now, I'm going to darken up. I'm going to darken up some of the lines because I think it needs some extra work. So this is a 4B. So now I'm really going to go in now and really define the edges and the creases. This one goes inside there. This is a fold here. It comes around. That's the edge. This folds down. This is really amazing. A really amazing project, and you can find this figure on the internet. Of course, you can find out how it's folded and so forth, and it's a lot of fun to practice these. There's several origami figures that you can have, and I just thought it'd be interesting for me to demonstrate a drawing tonight using this figure because it shows I'm drawing lines. But again, I used sighting, straight lines, proportions, angles. I measured the angles. I sighted and I estimated the dimensions. I used the different points to compare location, comparison, and always using contour drawing by looking at the object itself and coming up with directions. You saw me sight the angles. Now this back wing now was a real big wing. Let's see, I'll get that a little bit darker and it'll show up. Really nice. A nice straight line. And then this one over here, the final line over here is this big one here. And this was really, this crease here was really dark, and that's where the real shadow is. And the rest of these, again, just very lightly went in there and just did a little shading, just a little shading, give it a little But you can see the inside of this. That's why I try to show the folds. And this is the fold down here. This is a crease. This is important. The back of this fold here is a crease on it, and it goes here across. You can see the line up close. There's a crease there. Okay. So that is the demonstration of the drawing of the Origami Crane, and these are very famous. I was in Japan a while when I was in the service in the Marine Corps, and I've seen a lot of these in Japan. They're very famous. They have a lot of history. It's a symbol of love and hope for the Japanese, and they use it very good in a lot of ceremonies. They use this particular one, so it's a very famous figure. Okay, and this picture I think came out pretty good.
Creative Sparks, that very cool demonstration. Thanks so much.
Well, I hope you will follow this along. I would recommend that you try something like this. Either you can take a photograph, or you can get samples out of you can go on the internet and do a search and get it. The photograph you have tonight, you can use the photograph I have here in my video, and you can also, if you want to join in, you can draw this up, and if you want to share it with some of my groups on my Everett Watercolors art group on Facebook, then welcome to it. I recommend you to come aboard. This was a lot of fun. You can see the actual real origami piece is much smaller than the photograph. So I blew that up so I could get a better idea of drawing it, and the drawing itself was a lot larger, so you could see what I was doing. So I appreciate you all looking in, and I'll be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Simply Drawing with Everett. I also have a watercolor live show at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, and I'll put out a little. I do a one-line drawing demonstration on every Sunday, and if you subscribe to this channel, then you'll get a notification of those programs. So I recommend, if you do, please subscribe to my channel. So let's go back to the main camera. Okay, that's
She's going to put this in her sketchbook.
very good. Well, that's where it belongs. And you know, something like that you can practice. And I've done it several times before I did it tonight. You know, it takes practice, and it takes a little bit of getting used to the angles and the proportions and so forth. But that's what drawing is all about. It's not just drawing at one time and thinking you're done. Drawing becomes a way of creating art, and also, you know, practicing how to make lines and shapes and so forth. So thank you for joining me, and please subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified of my next video. So you all be safe this week.
And Sunday, did you mention Sunday?
I mentioned Sunday. At Sunday I do a simply draw. Oh, that's the one where I do anyone can draw with one line only. And I think you'll enjoy watching that. It's a simple little demonstration on drawing another simple drawing, and it's very quick. So I recommend you take a look at that. And if you're subscribed to me, you'll get notification of that particular program. So until next week, I'll see you on my next video. Until then, bye.